Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks. Today we are talking spinach crust pizza. It's a great low-carb, beautiful solution for the keto and other low-carb diets. Let me show you how this works. This is really lovely. I'm going to make two 14 to 16 inch crusts here. And so I've got the oven preheating at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And let me walk you through how this works. I'm going to start off here with four 12-ounce packages that have been thawed of frozen spinach. That can be any kind of spinach at all. Just going to dump it on in there. Make sure I get all the goodies out of the bag. This will tend to stick in there a little bit. Wipe it away. That's your money in there. And there we go. There we go. Great. And you notice I got my bowl lined with a clean dish towel. And what I'm going to do is squeeze the water I don't want in the spinach out of, because this is going to be the basis. This is going to be the base for our pizza crust. We're going to dress up in kind of the same way we've done with zucchini and with cauliflower. And here you can see I'm just going to gather it together. See, it's already very... There's a lot of liquid in spinach. Really beautiful dark green liquid again. I really wish there was a way to do something with that. If you know of it, please make a comment, let me know. Now with spinach, we really want to make sure we get a lot of this liquid out. As you can see, it's really coming out of there fast. And here we've already got a good, I'm going to guess that's probably at least 3 cups of water. And this is just the water that was in the spinach as I just thawed it at room temperature for about 4 or 5 hours. If you use fresh spinach, I'm not sure exactly how much you would use here. I'm going to guess about 5 or 6 pounds of fresh spinach. And you could reduce it in a skillet over medium-high heat and wilt it really nicely. That would actually get a lot of the water out of it. You'd still want to go through this step here. Now, oops, my bag just burst out. That's all right, that's all right. Just going to hold it together and continue squeezing. That will happen. This is why we have clean, rather old dish towels around the house. Now, we don't have to get every drop of water out of this, but we do want to really get as much as we can. I'm just going to continue to do it. I'm going to be patient. As you can see, this isn't difficult or strenuous, really. It's just a bit of a bother. It's totally worth going through. This is a delicious pizza crust. And don't give up too soon, or you're going to end up with a soggy, strange little pizza crust. You're going to end up with pizza soup. Spinach pizza soup. Might be good, but it won't be pizza. Not what you're looking for at the end of this dish. Will he stop now just a little bit more? And as you can see, there's just so much in there. When you're thinking, is that it? Give it one more squeeze. And there we go. I think that'll do it. Now let's put this in the bowl of our food processor. Got really wrapped up there. What we end up with is a nice, pretty solid ball of well-drained spinach. I'm going to break it up a little bit as I put it in here. See, like I said, your cloth breaks, no big deal, just hold it together. Nothing goes perfectly in the kitchen, or very rarely ever it does. All right, here we go, into the food processor as much as we can, all over my fingers. Toss this water here. Give my hands a quick rinse. And I'm right back with you. Wipe off my countertop just a little bit of excess spinach there. We're going to put it right back in the bowl. Okay, we're ready for the rest of our ingredients. We're going to start off here with a cup of grated or shredded mozzarella cheese. Let's stick that right on in there. Make sure we get it all. Here I've got a half a cup of chickpea flour, of garbanzo bean flour. Anyway, you can find that usually in Indian stores, or you could make it yourself. I made this myself in my blender by just putting about a half a cup of chickpeas into my blender, turning it on high, and then I sifted it so I'd make sure the flour was finely enough ground. Here I've also got 2 large eggs. I'm going to give them a little bit of a beating before we put them in there. And I'm going to use my spatula to put every bit of that in there. And then I've got some seasonings that I'm going to put in here. Here I've got 2 teaspoons of 2 teaspoons of dried garlic. I've also got about a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and a half a teaspoon each of kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. I'm going to dump that right on in there. And again, make sure, it's a little humid here in Ohio today. And once we find the top to the food processor, here we go. Stick it on there and let it rip. You might have to help it along a little bit. Pulse that. This is actually the fact that it's not swooshing around really fast is a good sign. That means that we don't have too much liquid in our spinach. If you do, you might want to just add a few minutes onto the baking time. Anyway, we're going to get this nicely mixed up. I'm going to give it a stir. And when I've got this mixed into a nice homogeneous dough, I'll be back and show you how to spread it out on the pans. You know what? While I'm doing this, let me show you something. Now, I've gotten just enough liquid out of this to make it a little difficult to blend in my food processor. So what I'm going to do to correct that is I'm going to add another egg at least. To do that, I'm going to break it into a bowl. This is really always the best way. I don't always do it this way. To make sure that you don't get any shell, and if you do, it's easy to remove. I'm going to give that just a quick little stir. Put that in our bowl. Let's see if that doesn't make this a little quicker, a little faster. You don't want to add other liquid. Here the egg is going to act as a good binder. If this doesn't go pretty fast, I'm going to put another egg in it and see what happens. The thing is, I don't want to add too much egg, because when we do, what we end up with is kind of a weird sort of omelet kind of a thing, and it can be very eggy. And again, I don't know if it's going to turn out that way if we do that here, and I'm going to guess we're going to need another egg. Let's give it another shot. You know, you get a roll with the punches when you are cooking from scratch, and just part of the thing. What we want is something, of course, a consistent product here that we're going to be able to spread out over a pizza pan that's covered with a sheet of parchment paper. Right now, we're not quite there. It's not really quite incorporated, but it's kind of getting there. Let me give it another stir and see what happens. So as you can see, we're just having a little trouble getting it going here. I'm thinking maybe one more egg. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, break it in the bowl. Break up that yolk a little bit. And in it goes. Nothing to it. Let's see, we're going to let this go and see how. See, now it's starting to really move along here, very slowly, but again, let's be patient with it. If this were an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000, they would surely criticize me for the great food processor shot with the spinach and other ingredients. Again, stick with me here, this will just take a second, and if you can't stand it, you can always fast forward a little bit. Stop it, give it another stop. Okay, one more egg, here we go. It's all right, again, here I just simply want this to come together, and that's a lot of spinach in there, a lot of kind of dry spinach. We don't want to have a dry, weird product there, so let's try this one more time. Oh yeah, now it's starting to move. I have good hope this will be the last of our food processor footage. Or just about. Let me give it one more quick stir. I think now that's really going to go once we get it settled down in there. put all our goodies down in there. You see it's starting to come together, but we want a big, thick, paste-like consistency here. Again, we're going to be rolling this out, pressing out with our fingertips over a parchment-covered baking sheet. Okay, I think now we finally got it incorporated well. Let's have a quick look. It looks a little bit like basil pesto, doesn't it? Now, again, I'm going to kind of smush it down here because what I want to do is just divide it into two more or less even pieces. And here we're going to put it on our parchment-covered baking sheet. And that's a big old mound of spinach and cheese and egg and stuff. Get on there. It's really quite beautiful, I think. It sticks to your hands a little bit. You know, I'm thinking maybe, let me give my hand a rinse and maybe wet my hands a little bit, see if that doesn't keep that from happening. And on the other hand, how bad is it to have a little spinach on your hands, right? Not too bad. So I'm going to spread this out as thinly as it will allow. In this case, it's going to allow me to go all the way out to the confines of my pizza pan, which is nice when it works out that way, I think. It comes out looking nicest when I have kind of a mold to work with. Yeah, this feels really nice. This is a very nice little dough. Really unusual, beautiful. It actually smells beautiful. It has a very green smell to it. What you want to do here, here's the important part, is you want to smooth it out. You want to have an even thickness all the way around. That's important when you're making a pizza to some extent, if you want it to be pretty, especially if you're serving it to guests. I think it's always nice to take a little extra care to do what you can. I'm not the best with presentation, but I am aware of it. I'm going to go ahead and pat out the second half of this dough, and then we'll get ready to put them in the oven. We're back again, and it's time to put the pizzas in the oven. I mentioned before that I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and now I'm going to put the pizzas in. And aren't they beautiful? I just think that is such a beautiful crust. It's so unusual and lovely. Let's see how they are when they come out, of course. I have great faith that that'll be pretty good. I'm going to bake them both at the same time, so this is going to take 30 minutes altogether. About 15 minutes through, I'm going to switch them so they bake evenly. We'll be back when they're finished baking and I'm ready to pull them out of the oven. Well, my timer's just going off now. Let's turn that off and get those beautiful crusts out of there now. You can see the color's darkened a little bit. Bring it over here. I'm just going to slip these onto, slip them onto wire racks to cool them. As you can see, they're less pliable. They're actually kind of stiff. They're less pliable than the zucchini and the cauliflower crust, and actually than a bread crust would be too. They look really great though, and I can't wait to get some pizza sauce and some cheese on these things and check them out. I think you're going to love them too. Thanks for joining us today on Tim Talks for this unusual low-carb recipe. We'll see you next time.